today. Taking a little cruise, took it and got it washed. Now we're going to run it a little bit, see what kind of gripes might come up. It's been sitting a long time. Worked on a few things. We'll see if anything new crops up or if I've forgotten anything. Quick observations here. First off, there's no replacement or displacement. When you double your horsepower, you feel it. It's it does feel good to get in some get in a V8 here and do a little running. That's not to knock my six banger. Now I like some Chevy, but yeah. It feels good to get a few more ponies under your foot here so you can do a little bit of running. Number two, rattles. There's a distinct lack of rattles and bings and bangs since I've tightened up and repaired that bed back there. You know, I used to think a lot of my noises was coming from up front, but apparently it was coming from the back. This thing is almost as tight as far as sounds as the Chevy. Now these little 14-inch wheels, they in no way ride as smooth as those big, tall 16-inchers on the Chevy. And the Chevrolet, even though it is taller, it handles much better too. There's a lot of lean in this, and that may be because even though I put the correct amount of springs back in the front end, and I've got good shocks, it may be that the springs are wore out, more so than the Chevy. And you know, I traded and got them springs. They came off of 53, I believe. Unknown mileage, unknown condition of the truck. I just traded for them sight unseen because they were a complete set. So anyway, there is you know, it floats better if that's anything. But the rattles, there were hardly any rattling at all now. Really, the only sounds I'm getting besides the engine and the carburetor when I want it is wind noise through the windows. So anyway. Let me see, any more? Yeah, the radio reception's not good. That antenna being down there in the fender doesn't pick up real good. Of course, that's a lot cheaper radio too, so that may have something to do with it. But anyway, heat works good. I got the heat on, but no fan. And because it's about to run me out. But so far, it's running real good. I was getting my valves chirping some when it was cold, and I was thinking either the octane of the gas is lessened, or maybe it's the last of the winter blend. But as the engine warmed up and got up to operating temp, the valves don't clank anymore. So it might be a combination of winter blend gas and the engine still being cold. Right now it's running real good. So let's get back into the cruise. That big Elderbrock, it just never gets old hearing that dude sucking the wind in. Anyway. Alright, looks like the missus has been busy painting the wrought iron. Alright. Alright. Sounding like it's wanting to run. Alright, let's kick him down. And we're going to open up the air conditioner. There we go. And the side AC. Alright, let's go. Alright, they're lowered. I'm going to have to put a hat on this thing real quick. It's going to get messy. My, oh my, is it beautiful out here today. We're in the 80s. Right. And I got my vent window open. Got some wind, got all my air conditioning vents up. I got max air conditioning going. So anyway, I like, you know, anymore I listen to the radio while I'm cruising. And I was listening to a local talk radio station. And they were on the subject of the difference between a hot rod and a street ride. Well, I decided, turn that down, I decided I was going to participate. So I pulled over, and the cell range was not good, the cell service. But I got on a little bit. I think I was making my point about the difference between a hot rod and a street rod, which to me is a hot rod is stripped down, trying to make the vehicle as light as possible with the biggest, highest performance engine he can put in it that you can afford. And because the main premise of the hot rod is to race, go fast and race. Now, a street rod, it's not unusual for it to have a big, powerful engine, but it's not going to be stripped down. It's going to have a real nice, fancy paint job. It's going to have most all the stock parts on it, body parts, but it'll probably be modified to, to fit the individual's styling taste, and it's going to be set up to where it'll drive comfortably. So you can drive it around and cruise. But I wanted to introduce, before I got cut off, I wanted to introduce the Resto mod, which fits in between them two, in my opinion. Now, the Resto mod, it's what most of us dwell in. That's what most of us have, because we're taking a stock vehicle, trying to keep it as close to stock as possible, trying to hop up the engine to get as much horsepower as possible, and we're trying to do it on a shoestring budget. So anyway, Resto mod, and that's what I consider both my trucks. Although I'm trying to keep the Chevy real close to a restoration, it's still modified, and of course this GMC is highly modified. But anyway, it was fun till my cell service. You know, it's funny. I was on hold for 10 minutes, because of the prior callers talking and some commercials. So I finally get there, and that's when that gum cell phone decides to lose service, and I hadn't moved. Anyway, isn't that the way it works? Let's continue with our nice cruise. Mountain dead ahead of us. faster than that. Of course, I didn't have a camper. The other lady. Anyway. Oh, me. Get gone, winter. One day when I grow up, I'm gonna get power steering. All right, just had my scheduled pit stop. That 350 just sounding good and good. I was asked about that malt shop. Said I had no idea. Yep, she's wanting to get back to cruising, and I don't blame her. I want to too. All right. That's the hottest it's gotten so far this season. 200. That means the fan's on. All right. Yep. My ammeter there. It's showing, yeah. Very good. All right. I wanted to catch the moment when the temperature, engine temp dropped down to under 185. You can see here my ammeter centered, because I can tell when the fan turns on and off via the deflection of the ammeter. So I guess it's been, oh, maybe 2 miles and maybe a couple minutes since I left idling, where I got up to 200, and now it's down to, it's dropping below 185, and I'm back to not even having to use the fan to cool. You know, I'm doing what, 48, 50? There's enough wind blowing through just to cool without the aid or the load of any kind of fan, mechanical or electrical. Anyway, but when I run this thing up to 60, it will start getting up there around 200, 205, because it's working that engine to run that fast. But 55 and below, everything except idle and very low speed, like bumper to bumper red light, this doesn't even turn the fan on. All right. Truck do like to run. The sway bars would be nice, or an IFS. And that reminds me, I got an update. Get through these turns. Some of you, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I guess back in the summer, I traded for an S10 frame. It was a mid-80s, long bed, regular cab S10, but it was missing pretty much everything. But it was a good frame, rear axle, front suspension, wheels, steering, power steering, gear doing to this, especially when I did the bed, I've determined that, well, I'm not going to do that S10 frame swap after all. What I want to do is install an IFS on this existing frame and box this frame in. This frame has been repaired, and they did a good job. There's no weaknesses or problems that I see anywhere with the repair. So I'm going to keep this frame. So I have traded away that partial S10 frame. And I'm going to use the resources to do other stuff. So anyway, if you were waiting on me to do that swap, I'm sorry I didn't do it. There's a couple websites, and I'll put a link somewhere around here that where, I mean, there's several guys, and that's what they do. That's what they specialize in. And you can follow, go to those websites and follow some very good build threads. But I'm not going to be doing it myself. I've just opted to, if I do a frame modification to this GMC, which seems like I might, I don't know. I'm going to go with an IFS. I still am very interested in trading for a convertible. A 50s or 60s convertible. Make and model's not real important. I'll pretty much trade for either. Any of the big three. But the more I drive this, the more I wanted to keep it too. So you never know. Oh yeah. In my lane. Going around the mailman. Anyway, that's just an update. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled cruise. What about an outside shot? Sound like a pissed off bumblebee.